All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Mike Wisdala. I'll be your master of ceremonies tonight, and I promise to have you out here by about 11:15 tonight. So I hear some of the people are going to be talking longer than normal, so we've got a clock this year. So, and it's 4:40 underneath me, so you go past 8 minutes, you're done. You're done. On behalf of the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame Board, I would like to thank you for coming to our 30th annual Bay County Sports Hall of Fame banquet. This is kind of a special one. We didn't have one last year, so we appreciate you all coming out and being with us. And I know some people are not here because they're out in the woods right now, or going to be out in the woods. So we'll have a lot of fun. We've got a great class this year. So a couple great teams going in, and another outstanding president award. So we're going to have a fun evening, a good meal, and we're going to relive a lot of memories. But first of all, I'd like to introduce Bay County Commissioner Vaughn Begic. He's going to read the Bay County proclamation. So please welcome Vaughn Begic.
Who's watching the Lions? 29 seconds, let me know. I got money on this. No, not too much money. I'm a Bay County Board of Commissioners member. We have a proclamation that we passed a couple months ago to recognize the Hall of Fame. I'll read it to you as quickly as possible. Whereas the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame was established 31 years ago for the purpose of recognizing athletic excellence in Bay County, and whereas the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame will be inducting the 1974 Essexville Garber football team, the 1975 Bay City Handy, my alma mater, baseball team, Becky Bach-Simmons, Jody Gifford, Marquardt, Tracy Morin, Melissa Petty David, Gene Rademacher, Terry Smith, Adam Rabel, and Dan Rivette. And whereas the President's Award will be presented to Charlie Beaver, and whereas scholarship awards will be presented to Sean Walkowiak from Central, Thomas Janowski from Pinconning, excuse me, pronunciations here, Alex Suzuki from All Saints, I did ask him how to pronounce that, Bryant True Murphy from Western, Logan Hugo from Garber, Abigail Tarrant from John Glenn. Whereas the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame will be honoring these individuals at a banquet to be held on Sunday, November 14th, 2021. Whereas the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame is to be commended for their efforts in recognizing these outstanding individuals within our community. Therefore, be it resolved that the Bay County Board of Commissioners, Bay County Executive, pay tribute to these outstanding athletes, individual and scholars, and wishes the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame continued success in their efforts. And also James Barsha has signed on with this, and Kathleen Sinati, our Bay County Clerk. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaughn. Vaughn was a past member of the Board of Directors for the Hall of Fame, so thanks once again. Folks, if you could stand up, please. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll have our invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, if you would remain standing, please. Our invocation will be from one of our board members, Mrs. Kathy Dardis.
Good and gracious God, we are brought together in person and spirit this afternoon through a passion to be the best in our sport, as a teammate, and in our families. We give thanks for the immeasurable moments that have been shared and witnessed by those here today. Bless each of our inductees, team members, and scholarship recipients as we join in fellowship to honor and celebrate their success. Nourish our bodies with the food prepared for us, keep all safe in their travels, All of this we pray in your name. Amen.
Okay, I think we can sit down. Got a couple more announcements. I'd like to introduce the, somebody took my, I'm going to introduce the Hall of Fame board right now. We'll have them stand up if you would keep your applause to the very end. Our president that keeps this thing going every year is Jen Thunberg. They're all in the back. Our vice president, Dan McAvoy. Our secretary, Lee Thompson. Our treasurer, Ned Klinke. Other board members are Mike Debo, Sean Sullivan, Mike Dorr, Kim Coonan, and Kathy Dardis, and myself, as a matter of fact, is on the board. So it's been a labor of love for the last 20 months, so good job, guys. A big hand for the board of directors. We have a lot of fun and a lot of interesting meetings. Also, I want to introduce some members that are here that are part of the Hall of Fame already, so I hope we got you all. I'm gonna, if you would stand, and we'll save the applause till the end. Pat O'Shea. Pat's there in the back. Hi, Pat. Jim Davidson. There's Jim. If you would stand up, he's around, so there he is back there. Brian Bishop, I know he's here. Brian. Ed Harvey. Coach Harvey, I know you're here. Mike Gakin, back in the back over here. Coach Morley Frazier. Chris Pop. Chris. Kelly Spielhopter. DeWitt, is she here, Kelly? Naaman Smith. Who's Naaman? There's Naaman over there. Hi, Naaman. Dr. Steve Hickner. Where's Doc? There he is. Gary Stefaniak. Jeff Hart. Where's Jeff? There's Jeff in the back. And representing their dad, Jack Spencer, Dave, and Mike Spencer. So how about a big round of applause? Did I miss anybody? Did I miss anybody? I have missed people before. Okay. All right. Nobody missed? I don't want to miss anybody because I'll hear about it for a year. I'll have to remember next year. All right. At this time, but Coach Debo, are you ready? All right. At this time, we are going to introduce our Hall of Fame scholarship winners for 2021, and to handle that, as he does every year, is board member Mike Debo.
If I could have the scholarship winners please come up here. See, I gave them their money, so being a banker, I made sure I paid them, but paid them and going to feed them, so they should stay for a few minutes. As they make their way, it's my honor to recognize our scholarship recipients for the class of 2021 this evening. The $750 scholarship they get is funded from fundraisers that we have in tonight's banquet. So thank you for participating, taking part in our raffle and 50-50. So let me introduce our recipients. I'm going to first start with Alex Krzyzewski from All Saints. He played varsity basketball for 4 years, varsity baseball for 4 years, and football for 2 years. He was all-conference for basketball for 3 years. I'll mention All-State, academic All-State in the MLive Bay County Dream Team. He was all-conference baseball for 3 years. He participated in the All-Star Game at Loon Stadium. Alex was on the National Honor Society, the Student Council, Key Club, and maintained a GPA of 4.1. Alex is currently attending Delta and will be on the baseball team this year. Congratulations, Alex. Next, I have Sean Walkoyak from Central. All right, listen to this. All right, I guess, Sean was swimming for 4 years, football for 3 years, track for 2 years, cross country for 1 year, soccer for 1 year, lacrosse for 1 year. So I think you covered it all, Sean. He was All-State in swimming first team. He was a member of the National Honor Society, the Student Council. He maintained a GPA of 3.67. Sean is currently attending Grand Valley, majoring in biomed engineering, and just yesterday, I believe, qualified for the Nationals in the 50 backstroke for the Grand Valley Swim and Dive Club. So congratulations, Sean. Next is Bryant True Murphy from Western. True was 4 years on the cross country and track teams. He was a 3-time state qualifier in cross country. He was first team all conference, and he was the TVC champion 1 year. He also was the Bay County champion in the 1 mile, 2 mile, and the 5K. He was president of the BPA at the Career Center. He maintained a GPA of 3.1. He's currently attending Saginaw Valley and is on the track and cross country team and majoring in computer science. Congratulations. Next is Logan Hugo from Garber. He played 4 years of baseball, 3 years of football. He was all conference in 3 years. Probably the only reason some of these athletes weren't 4 years because unfortunately they had a COVID year for the spring sports. He was All-State for 2 years, on the Dream Team for baseball for 3 years, and he also participated in the All-Star game at Dow Diamond and Co-America. He was All-Conference for football for 1 year, member of the National Honor Society, and maintained a GPA of 3.9. Logan's currently attending Eastern Michigan University and is on the baseball team and majoring in finance. Congratulations, Logan. Abigail Tarrant from John Glenn. She played 4 years of varsity basketball and 4 years of varsity softball. Abby is the all-time leading rebounder at John Glenn, and she was a 1,000-point scorer in her career. She was 3 times first team M Live Dream Team selection, 2-time area player of the year, 2-time B Camp, which is the Coaches Association for basketball. She was 3-time All-State. In softball, Abby was 3-time All-District, 2 times All-Region, and first team Dream Team during her senior year. She was a member of the National Honor Society, the Youth Leadership, maintained a GPA of 3.8. Abby is on the Hope basketball team, which is ranked #1 in Division III basketball. She's majoring in communications. Unfortunately, she's going through some injury transition right now and hopes to be able to get back to be able to play this year. So congratulations to Abby. And our last recipient is Thomas Janowski from Pinconning. Tom played 4 years of football, basketball, and baseball. In football, he was all-conference and M-Live Dream Team for 2 years. In basketball, all-conference 3 years, M-Live Dream Team 2 years. And in baseball, he was all-conference 2 years and was on the Dream Team. And along with that, he was also academic All-State in baseball. He was a member of the National Honor Society, the Peer Mentor Program, and DAR Good Citizen Award. He maintained a GPA of 4.055, and he is currently attending Saginaw Valley and majoring in finance. So one last round of applause for our 2021.
So our next speaker is, I have the great honor of introducing, is the glue that keeps this Hall of Fame board together. She has done a tremendous job since she's been president. Lots on her plate, not only from her job, but also as trying to keep this group together. So if you would please welcome our president of the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame, Jen Thunberg.
Thank you, Mike. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking tonight. I know that we want to get into our program here and honor inductees tonight. But I do know that the last couple of years here, this has been a struggle. And the fact that we could get this group together finally tonight, I know that our board just kept having conversations about how do we do this correctly and how do we honor this group of people in the times that we're having. And I'm sure everybody's sick of hearing the word COVID, but I mean, that's been what's dictating our lives for the last 18 months or so. And not just here for this banquet, but just in every part of our lives. And the one thing that I keep coming back to, and especially on a night like this, is how athletics has really just kept people together. And when we were missing the athletics, and I'm speaking as a high school athletic director, when we were missing that, you could see the toll it was taking on people and the mental health and the things that people were missing out on that they enjoyed to do. So a night like this, to me, it's just getting back to the norm and getting back to the thing that people love and getting back to enjoying our teammates, our family, our friends, and having these gatherings. Those are the things that we've been missing over the last year. So I'm very appreciative that everyone's here tonight, and I'm not going to take these nights for granted anymore, because I know that some years we get up here and we've been doing this, I've been doing this for over a decade, and you get to the planning of this and you get to this night and you realize that how fun this is and how great this is that we can get all these people together. So I thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to hearing the stories tonight and honoring the people that deserve to be here tonight. So thank you.
Yeah, Jen does a great job keeping us all together and in line and stuff. So Jen, thank you, and thanks to all the board members for the great work they do. Just a couple more things. This year, as many of you saw, we got the shot clock back there, so that's an 8-minute clock. So that's just a reminder that's an 8-minute clock. And this year we decided to do something new for our inductees. We normally would give the teams hats and plaques for the individuals and of course certificates. But this year we thought we'd give them glasses with the Hall of Fame logo on it. So basically the board said these get a lot more use than a hat would. So did you guys take them out for a test drive yet tonight at all? They're really good, trust me. All right, our first inductee tonight is we always start our evening off with the President's Award. And the President's Award is for somebody that does great things on the field, off the field, on the wrestling mat, away from the wrestling mat, in the gym, outside the gym. And when we kicked this thing around a few years back, we couldn't think of a better person to have the President's Award than this year's winner, Charlie Beaver. Charlie's been doing a great job in the wrestling and doing a lot of things behind the scenes. Charlie was a 3-sport standout at Bay City Handy and did a lot of nice things for the Wildcats. Charlie was a larger-than-life figure in Bay County wrestling, no matter what school you attended. He was the leader of the Bay County Roadrunners for 25 years, and he also started 2 other wrestling associations. And when Charlie was running those organizations, Bay County wrestling was the hot sport in Bay County. From 1980 to 2009, Bay City Western had 57 state medalists under Coach Beaver. Brian Beaver won the '93 title for Western. Matt Bishop, Jim Forgash, and Corey Ramirez did the same thing at John Glenn, and Eric Johnson was a state championship at Bay City Central. As you can see, it did not matter to Charlie what school you went to. He just wanted you to become better at what you did in wrestling and especially in life. And I can remember talking to Charlie when I was coaching at Western. He would always stop me on the way out or on the way in, Gwiz, how's it going? How you doing? How's the family? How's the team? Good luck tonight. Always a positive thing, and I always had a nice pat on the back for me. So, accepting the President Award for his dad, Charlie, tonight, please welcome Matt Beaver.
Thank you and good evening. I sure wish my dad could be here. I'd love to watch him tonight give this speech. And unfortunately, he passed away May 7th of 2020. So, but I know he's watching down tonight. And with the Lions not losing, I know he helped with that today. So, God bless. But I know he would, first off, thank everybody for being here and people like Mark Nierenberg for nominating him over the years. Thank you, the board, for electing my dad to this honor. All the kids he coached over the years, he would definitely thank them because it was his pride and he put so much passion and love into the sport. And without them kids, he wouldn't be able to do what he did. All the coaches that helped him through the years, people like Gary Ross, Terry Bishop on the wrestling side. He coached a lot of football, which people don't know. Jerry Dunham was a big part with him, starting a youth program out in Auburn, which turned into whole Bay County. And Al Doty, he went up to high school at the end and helped coach that. So he gives thanks to all the coaches that were with him throughout the years. And definitely the family tonight that came. Thank you for coming and honoring my dad, especially my mom. So thank you, Mom, for dedicating, giving Dad to the sport of wrestling and football over all the years. And my dad, like he said, he played for Handy High School. He was a standout in football and wrestling, and he boxed, and he threw a real mean shot put. And he always told me how he had scholarship offers to go play football, but he didn't come for a lot, so he went to General Motors right out of high school and the foundry and became a millwright. And I think that's what led him to go help people later on in life. I think he wanted to give kids opportunities that he may never had, and he just loved to see kids grow through the sports. So it all started with about in the late 70s, 78, 79. He took us up to Bay City Western's gym, and my brothers and I was like 3 years old, and we started wrestling under a coach named Clarence Pease. And he ran a good program, but it came down that he was leaving the program, and if nobody took it over, Wrestling Bay County Youth Wrestling would never existed. So he stepped up like any coach in this room would do. Like, you know how much dedication is. These people need to step up. So he did that, and it was very successful for 25 years, building a not just Western feeder program, which it was at the time. It became a Bay County thing. He loved to see kids in our county, you know, he was born and raised here, succeed through wrestling. So we would have to go down to Detroit back in the early days of the late 70s and wrestle in Detroit. And he would fill the cars full of kids in Suburbans and vans and go down and wrestle in Detroit. And, you know, it wears and tears on you. My mom would drop him off back at the shop for third shift on the way home. So he started getting with people from mid-Michigan, like the Flint area. And he created just an awesome league called the MMWA. So people logistically didn't have to drive so far. And that was a big thing. It's still a great, it's like supplies Michigan wrestling as a whole now. So starting that league was a major accomplishment. I give him a lot of credit for that. And in northern Michigan, we had kids coming down to practice every week from Tawas, and they sure, you know, we would like to start a league up here, Charlie. So my dad and a gentleman named Dave Allen started a Northern Michigan League, and that's still running very good today. So he was pretty much a godfather of youth wrestling and started programs throughout the whole state to give kids opportunities to grow the sport, learn the sport. Just like in football, he always told me, not every kid's gonna be big enough to play college level, but it gives you a chance to learn the sport, learn sportsmanship, and have an opportunity to play the game. So he always loved to give the kids opportunities, and he loved it so much. So it's a little bit of his past. And like I said, a lot of people just give him credit as wrestling. He caught wrestling. But it wasn't just wrestling. He was a major scene impact on kids' life in football. He, same story. He came, my brother Chuck wanted to play football, so he went out to the Auburn team in early 80s and started that league. They were going to give up the program, and he stepped up again and said, I'll coach the team. So, and that was some of the best days of my life was playing football with my dad. And he won probably over 10 championships, undefeated in a row with that league. Turned into a Bay County league, not just an Auburn team once again, like wrestling. And I mean, I remember in 1986, me and my brother Brian was on team, and we didn't even get scored on. He was like a defensive genius, I think. So just very, very good memories of the wrestling and the football. He was amazing coach at that. And I just can't say enough words of how he was as a coach, because it wasn't just about on the mat or on the field. He wanted you to be a better person in life. My cousin Mark was over yesterday, and we were reminiscing, and he said, you know how he'd sit us down and just talk about, it ain't just about the game. He wants you to grow up to be a good sportsmanship, have manners, be a good person in community, do good in school. You know, he was a very big mentor to many kids in his community. And that's what made him, the memories I think he would come up here and say is he enjoyed so much through all the years of coaching to watch kids grow at each level. Like I look at this program tonight and I see people like Tony Grant on the back here. You know, Tony came through the club. He wrestled his whole life, and my dad would be so proud of kids like that, succeeding to the next level, being a good person in the community. And I can mention a lot of kids like Jeff Campbell, coaching out in New Lothrop. He came through the program. Now he's winning state championships every year in wrestling. Keith Villano, coaching baseball now, winning state championships. Matt Bishop, he played wrestling, played football. Kind of went hand in hand. He'd bring the wrestlers and football together, and hopefully, you know, he'd become a champion. And he's coaching John Glenn wrestling now. There's a gentleman named Dave Weiss. My dad would take every kid to a football meet or practice, and you know, this Dave Weiss calls me every week and tells me, you know, I just love your dad. I just, you know, feel bad what happened with him passing, but I just want to let you know that he made me the man I was. I'm now coaching 7th and 8th grade football in Ohio, and I'm on my fifth championship. You know, he hit me up last week and he showed me a video, and he named the Charlie Beaver Award for the MVP, called Champions Give a Little More. And that meant so much, you know, to see the impact that he had on all these kids throughout the years. And it's really nice to see. And I think his favorite moment was to see his son Brian in '93 go undefeated and win a state championship, and watch him in college. So that's the stuff that all the years he gave, he was rewarded by watching kids grow and give the opportunities to kids. So with that said, I know my clock's ticking back there, so just 3 things that stand out, what he always said, was make this world a better place than you found it. You know, be a good person in the community. Try to make it better than you came in this world as. And one I hated was nobody remembers who's finished second, because sadly I took a couple of seconds, but he was always he didn't have to be a champion. Expectations are high, but he loved it no matter what, just as long as you played the sport with all you got. And his last one was, it takes a little bit more to be a champion. There's one that rings the bell with me every day. So he would congratulate everybody up here tonight, because I'm sure you gave a little bit more to be a champion. So congratulations to the class, the Hall of Fame class coming in tonight, and thank you for your time.
Okay, if we could get the individual inductees to come up tonight and sit in front of your plaque, that would be wonderful. They're a little nervous. Yep, Craig, you got to come up too. It's not too bad up here. All right, everybody here? Yeah. We missing anybody? Who's here? Terry. Where's Terry? Oh, he's not. Okay. All right. Well, okay. All right. Well, good looking group, but we got to lead off with somebody. So we got to lead off with a baseball player from Bay City Central. He was an outstanding athlete at Bay City Central, and his name is Adam Vrabel. Adam had a stellar career at Bay City Central where he was a two-time All-Stater, along with being an outstanding football player. And after Central, Adam left and moved on to Grand Rapids Junior College, where he won the Junior College World Series. After the junior college, it was on to Coastal Carolina, home of the Chanticleers, which was one of my favorite, where's Adam? One of my favorite mascots. I just loved it. I just found out that's a rooster or something, right? All right. Rudy of the Barnyard. Rudy of the Barnyard. And he had an outstanding career for the Chanticleers. After his playing days were over, he did some coaching at Furman, the Citadel, and Charleston Southern. Currently, Adam is the first base coach at Louisville, along with being the hitting coach, and works with the outfields at the University of Louisville. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Adam Vrabel to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
You can't start that yet, Jen. You can't start that yet. No, go ahead. Well, a couple of things. Me being a coach, I'm always carrying my stopwatch with me. And I go, you know what? I accidentally forgot that. I thought I'd one up everybody, and then I realized they put a shot clock over here. So, yeah, I wasn't aware of that. That was pretty good, Jen. That was pretty good. Obviously, there's a lot of people to thank. And I'll get into that here, but one thing I do want to say first to start off is thank you very much to the Bay County Hall of Fame and what you guys do, all the board committees, the members of staff that keep this thing going. I know everybody here feels the same way. Thank you so very much. I'm honored, I'm humbled to be up here right now. It means a lot to me. I see a lot of people that I don't get to see on a day-to-day basis or on a month-to-month basis, and I'm extremely happy to see them, and it means a lot to me. And congratulations to everybody here that is joining me. Congratulations for your induction. It is well-deserved. That being said, I have some cards with me here, so that's the one thing I did correctly is I at least keep on task, because if you know me and my family, we like to talk. So I think really that right there, I apologize, that probably is from me. But it's, like I said, I have a lot of people to thank. I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. And once I get going into this, you'll kind of see, and hopefully you'll have something to think about too. And I've been fortunate to be a part of Louisville baseball for the last 7.5 years. And when our kids come in for our first team meeting, they come in and they sit down and they look up on a screen. And on that screen, there's a quote there, and that quote says, it reads, "You win in life with the right people." And when I got the call from Lee about this, and I sat back and I smiled and I thought, okay, I can't wait to talk, and it resonated with me, like I know exactly what I'm going to talk about. For over the past year, I knew exactly what I was going to say. And it would show up and there would be a list of people that our head coach would sit there and say, these are the people that are going to influence you for the next 3 to 4 years of your life here at the University of Louisville. And we're talking from the president down to the athletic director, coaches, teammates, strength coach, conditioning coach, health coach, nutrition coach, academic coach, all these people that are going to influence your life for the next 3 to 4 years. And it would always make me sit there and say, yeah, how blessed I am to be here today. And who are these people that have had a hand in my life up until this point. And, you know, I'm going to keep saying this, but I was blessed. My mom and dad, my dad's no longer here, but I feel like he is here with me today. But my mother's sitting right here, and just very supportive, loving in everything that I wanted to do in life, and gave me everything that I needed to do, along with my brothers that are here. It means a lot to me, and you know, it's hard for me to keep moving on and just not name people. So if I move through and I don't say your name again, I'm on a little bit of a shot clock here, but please, you know, just with the coaches and that, I may not list everybody, and I wish I had the time to do that. But like I said, my brothers, I have 2 older brothers, Joseph and Brent. I have 2 nephews that are here with me today. My sister-in-law's here as well, and I just have a great support cast. I really have a great support cast. My 2 best friends are here, sitting in the front with me, supporting me, one coming from Detroit. It means a lot to me. I grew up with him, grew up with several of these guys, and it's not easy when you move away, and it doesn't take anything away from your relationships of the people that you have back at home, but it does say something that you have this connection when you are miles away and hours away. And I just have a great support cast. And I have my grandma here. I have several teammates here. I smile when I see them, give them big hugs, kisses on the cheek. It's just who I am. And my grandma's here, and the first thing that some of my teammates and they say is, "Where's Grandma? Where's Grandma?" And Grandma, I love you so much for always being there for me. And these people right here, they have no idea how much they mean to me. They have no idea. I can say it and say it and say it, but they have no idea how important they are to me. My wife, Renee, for those of you that don't know, we've been together, and I mean this in a very good way, a long time. And she's my best friend. She encourages me. She allows me to do what I do every day. I'm blessed with 3 kids. They're not here. Otherwise, you would see them running around here. But just very, very, very fortunate to have her in my life. And you mean the world to me. And she's sitting right next to my in-laws. That mean a great deal to me as well. I'm 36, and I think we started dating when we were like 13 or 14. So you guys can do the math on that, but they've been right there with me too. And my sister-in-law's not here, but she was a part of it as well. So, you know, for all you teachers and educators, and again, this is what I want everybody to realize, is once I talk to you about that tree and that list of people that have influence, you know, there's I'm not going to list the coaches that are here, but I have one that's getting inducted here, and I saw him and smiled right away, and I'm just so happy for him because he deserves it. And I won't ruin who that is. I'll kind of give you a drum roll once he comes up. But I'm very happy for him and his family. I played with his son, grew up with his son, friends with his son and family. So I'm very happy for him. But and it's just not that. It goes all the way back to the youth coaches. I look at that, and I was very, very lucky. And you think about all the people right now that are influencing the youth, and I encourage you to continue to do that. Keep them involved in sports and athletics, because that's how important it is for each and every one of us. And with the coaches, my teammates, again, me standing up here, nothing happens without that. Nothing happens without that with my family, my friends. That doesn't happen without my teammates. I was blessed to be around a lot of really good athletes, a lot of really, really good players. And honestly, all I ever wanted to do was be a part of something, be a solution to something, and be a part of something that was winning and moving forward. You know, I want you guys to think about this. You know, who is, and you guys have probably been thinking this, who's influenced you? Who's been a big influence in you in your life? If you pulled up the list and you went on down the years, the people that influenced you, that's great. I hope you have a lot of them. I really do, because I feel that way. I have a lot of them. But I really want you to think of it this way. Can you be somebody that's on the other side? Can you do that for somebody else? Can you help somebody else, whether they're youth all the way right on up? Like keep this going. So I want you guys to think of that. Can you be that for somebody else? Can you be a light for somebody else? And with that being said, again, I just thank you guys so very much. This means an awful lot to me. And congratulations to everybody up here. Thank you very, very much. Congratulations.
We were going to have the buzzer go off on that 8 minutes, but we didn't think that was such a good idea. We've tested it before everybody came here. I don't think that would have been a real good idea. It was kind of loud, to be honest with you, and obnoxious. Our next inductee was a standout volleyball player with the John Glenn Bobcats, and her name is Tracy Morin. Tracy was a natural at volleyball and moved right on up to the varsity when she got to John Glenn. At Glenn, Tracy earned Northeast Michigan Conference first team honors 3 times, all stayed as a senior and leading the Bobcats to 30 wins in 1996. After high school, the 6'1" Tracy decided she wanted to be a Bronco and went to Western Michigan. Tracy was a 3-time MAC player, all MAC player, and she still ranks among the best at Western in kills, points per set, blocks, and attack percentages. She was also a team captain her final 2 years. She also earned an invite to the Olympic Training Center, tried out for the Pan Am Games, and played professional in Austria. Tracy has also added professional volleyball, beach volleyball, to her outstanding career. Currently, she is a teacher and a coach teaching phys ed in California. If you would please welcome Tracy Morin to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
Well, hello, everybody. Very honored to be here today to celebrate the rich culture of sports here in Bay County. I've always believed that in life, anything is possible. All you have to do is set your mind to what you want and then work to make it happen. That is exactly what I did with volleyball. I decided that I wanted to be the best volleyball player that I could be and to play at the highest level possible. When opportunities presented themselves, I said yes, and I went for it 100%. My interest in volleyball began right here in Bay County. In my early childhood, playing balloon volleyball in the hallway at my grandmother's house with my older brother. The rules were pretty loose. There was no net. Everything was in, including the walls and ceilings. And the center line was more of a suggestion. As I'm sure you can imagine, our games were very competitive. And because my brother isn't here at the banquet today, I can tell you that I was the official champion of hallway volleyball, although he might disagree. Around that same age, we also spent a lot of time watching volleyball. Everything from City League at the community center where my mom and my aunts played on Friday nights to watching Sunday's AVP finals on TV. Eventually I retired from my hallway balloon volleyball career and I began playing for my school's teams at Zion Lutheran, John Glenn, and Western Michigan. Soon after college, I found myself playing indoor in Austria overseas. But no matter where volleyball took me, I always ended up back here in Bay City. When I was here, I played on all the City League teams, including the men's, women's, co-ed, beach leagues, and any tournament I could play in. Eventually, I moved to California, and there I was able to complete my dream of playing at the highest level possible, which was pro beach volleyball. When I got there, I didn't really know anyone, but I had a dream, and that was all that mattered. I said yes to every playing invitation that I was offered. I found a partner, I hired a coach, and I trained like crazy. It was not uncommon to find me in the gym at 10 p.m. multiple times per week to get that lift in because that was the only time available after working a full day and practicing after that. At that time, I was also finishing my master's degree program, so to say that I was busy was an understatement. After a couple of years, I was training, though, and competing with the best players in the country, traveling to beautiful beaches to play, sometimes at only a moment's notice, and winning tournaments. I met some of my AVP idols, got coached by them, played with them, and coached with them. And I currently coach for Mike and Patty Dodd, who I've learned so much from and become great friends with at their beach volleyball club in California. Volleyball has given me many opportunities that all started right here in Bay County, and I will be forever grateful and proud. That little girl playing balloon volleyball came a long way because of all of her hard work and the support that she's received along the way. Last summer, I had the opportunity to work with some young volleyball athletes here in Bay County, and the future looks bright for volleyball. I hope to keep giving back to our community and growing the sport of volleyball by offering lessons when I'm here to help people, to help others accomplish their goals, and to remind people that anything is possible in life. I'd like to thank my parents for always supporting me and believing in me, for taking me to camps and practices and tournaments, for watching me play, for driving everywhere and watching me play, for always providing feedback and always encouraging me no matter what to work as hard as I could through any adversity. I'd like to thank my family and friends who are here, many of them, for always cheering for me and being my biggest supports along the way. I also want to thank my coaches for guiding me, teaching me, and pushing me to always play better. I want to thank my opponents for making me play my best and for teaching me lessons about the sport, winning and losing, and life. I also want to thank my teammates for going into battle with me and generally putting up with me. I want to thank the trainers, the doctors, physical therapists, massage therapists, acupuncturists, sports psychologists, etc., for keeping my body and my mind healthy over all of those years of playing. But most importantly, I'd like to thank the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame for the honor of being inducted with so many other amazing coaches and athletes, including my father, Doug Morin, who was inducted with the 1968 John Glenn track team. Say hi, Dad. Congratulations to everyone who's getting inducted today. It's very much an honor. What an awesome culture of sports we have here in Bay County. Thank you.
Nice job, Tracy. Congratulations. Somebody asked me why don't I use a phone like Tracy did for a speech. My 3-year-old grandson's sleeping right now, so he can help me with it, so that's why I don't use it. This kid's just amazing. Anyway, our next inductee is a 1992 graduate of Bay City John Glenn, and her name is Becky Bach-Simmons. As a youth, Becky made gymnastics her sport of choice, but her gymnastics carried over into her diving. She was a 2-time independent swim conference champ and placed 9th in the state her senior year. She was also part of the qualifying relay teams, was on the pom-pom team, and was on the track and field team, but diving was truly her passion. After graduating from John Glenn, she attended Oakland University where she excelled. She was top 10 in the nation her first 2 years in the 1 and 3 meter, and she reached the team 2-time national championship. Becky had 4 All-American finishes at Oakland and 2-time national runner-up. She's also a member of the Oakland University Hall of Fame with a very impressive record at Oakland. If you would, everybody, please welcome Becky Bach-Simmons to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
Hi, everyone. First off, I'd like to thank the Bay County Hall of Fame Board and those of you who organized this special night for us. It's truly an honor to be up here among all these amazing athletes and coaches, so I thank you for getting this all set up for us. I'd also like to thank, of course, my family, everybody that came here tonight to support me. My husband, obviously, and then I've got my son here with me. My 2 daughters are off to school, so they couldn't be here tonight, but I think they're on FaceTime right now. And of course then, especially like to thank my mom, Kathy, my dad, Don, who was also part of the 1961, I believe, Handy football team that's been inducted in the past. My brother, Brad. Thank you guys especially for teaching me that nothing in life comes easy. You always have to work hard to be the best version of yourself in every aspect of your life. In addition to that, I just would like to mention it's kind of special today to be, like Adam I have another second dad that's kind of up here, getting inducted as well. So my best friend, Michelle Rademacher, growing up, and she dove with me at Oakland, and we had a great time. So thank you guys as well for being my second family through my whole career of gymnastics and diving. So obviously, I've also got so many coaches to thank, whether it was my coaches from when I was young in gymnastics, my high school coaches throughout every sport that I was involved in, or my college coaches as a diver at Oakland. Each one of them helped to shape me into the person I am today, so I truly thank them for all the support and guidance they gave me through my career. It's really a unique experience to have so many people who don't really know me or have never seen me dive vote me into this prestigious group of athletes. So it's kind of a unique experience. When I look back on my diving career, it's strange to think that I would be so deserving of this honor. When you're in the midst of learning and studying and trying to become the best athlete you can be, at least back then, I was never really truly satisfied with where I was. There was always improvement that needed to be done, new dives I wanted to learn, goals that I was setting for myself that I wasn't quite able to achieve. So as I finished my diving career, it was always a little bit of a regret with not having gotten to that individual national championship that I was hoping for. But being a part of Oakland's program and being a part of the national championship teams, it was such an amazing experience. There's so many of my teammates who are multi-time national champions and All-Americans. Sometimes you just kind of feel like what you're doing is kind of expected. So it was just kind of what I went for every day, what we worked so hard to be a part of. So being able to look back on this after so many years, it's made me realize that there really is something to be proud of with what I was able to accomplish. It's a unique, like I said, a unique experience to be able to be a part of this program, coming from this county that's had so many different amazing athletes and coaches that obviously are honored on nights like this. So thank you all for those who nominated me, who voted for me, for helping me realize that I do have something to be proud of, and it's amazing to be a part of this group of people. So congratulations to you all, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Good job. Well, our next inductee was known for being a tough baseball coach. Though that he was a coach who loved his players, along with the Bay County Pony League. Dan Rivette was a fixture for 25 seasons at Coryell Field, along with coaching at Western Middle School. Coach Rivette loved working with the 13, 14-year-old players in the Bay County Pony League. From 2006 to 2019, Coach Rivette's teams made the World Series 10 out of 11 years, finishing runner-up in 2019. The old school coaching helped his Bay County teams reach the North Zone tournament 22 times in 24 years, along with 12 World Series trips. Dan was also won the Joe E. Brown Fellowship Award for his work with the Pony League Baseball. Dan was also the coach Little League, high school, and he was also the first baseball coach at Delta College. Ladies and gentlemen, accepting the Hall of Fame award for his dad, Dan, please welcome Craig Rivette.
Good evening. First, I want to start off by saying thank you to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame for allowing my dad this great achievement and this great honor. Secondly, I'd like to say congratulations to all the people that are up here with me. You've all done wonderful things and everything that you do, and you are all very deserving of this honor. I'd like to say this too. Adam, you said that shot clock was probably for you. Yeah, probably me too. Anybody that knows me knows I can talk. My dad was not the same as me. He would have walked up here, he would have said thank you, he would have went back and sat back down. That would have been the simple truth. As I stand up here, I can't do that. I know he's looking down at me from above with my mom sitting right next to him. They would both look at me and probably be proud, probably be a little annoyed that I'd be up here speaking about them, but mostly they'd both be amazed at the amount of people that my father touched in this room. I look around and I see Adam Vrabel, I see Matt Rademacher, Coach Rademacher, all these people. There's a million more around this world that my dad probably has touched in some way, shape, or form. To me, that's amazing. I look back on his career of 40 years in coaching, and I think to myself, how many people did he impact? Adam talked about that list of people that would be up here who would impact you over the next 4 years while you were at college. And I look at all the people that my father impacted in his 40 years. What many of you probably don't know is that he coached at Handy Middle School, he coached at Western Middle School, he coached at Bay City Central, he coached in the Northwest Little League, he coached for the youth football program in Bay County, and he coached at Bay County Pony League. Before that, long before that, he started by coaching my sisters, both of whom are probably two of his greatest accomplishments. Then he coached my cousins at Northwest Little League. It started so long before anybody even realized it that most of us wouldn't even know that. His impact goes far and wide. People like Gary Stefaniak, Bill Mahoney, all these people were impacted or knew him and coached alongside of him. Coach Rademacher was there in the first part of all of this when he started, his career towards infamy, I guess you could say, in 1998 with the World Series team that went to Washington, Pennsylvania. I could tell story upon story about that team. Funny stories, happy stories, the fact that Coach Rademacher had me running hills out in Pennsylvania so I could get ready for football that year, which I was trying not to play, but I ended up playing and loved every minute of it. I could tell the story about how Coach Rademacher and Coach Nevue and my father were standing in the doorway of the dugout that sits right behind home plate at Lou Hayes Field. And the ball got thrown, I believe, by Adam Zanotti, if I'm not mistaken, and it went over the catcher's head and was flying towards them when they all decided to bail out and run into the dugout and basically fall all over each other. It was one of the great moments in the Pony League World Series history. I could tell story upon story upon story standing up here tonight. All those stories wouldn't be possible without a lot of people. Many of you are sitting right here. Without you, his career would not have been possible. And he would want you all to know that. All the players, all the coaches along the way were very important to him. He used to always say, it's for the kids. It's for the kids, it's for the kids, it's for the kids, and he always meant it. As he looks down upon all of you tonight, he would ask you the same thing that Adam asked you all. What impact can you have on the youth? He would want to know that every single kid, every single person you came in contact with, you had a positive impact on. The amazing part of this is that he's being inducted with people like Adam Vrabel, like Coach Rademacher, like Mrs. David. People whose children he impacted and who he impacted personally. None of that would have been possible, though, without some very special people. His friends, Marty Doyle, Marty Cravitt, Frank Nephew, Chon Mata, and his longtime best friend, Joe Howard. These are the people that sat in the dugout with him. These are the people that suffered the hardships, but also got to experience the triumphs with him. Many of them couldn't be here tonight. One of them is in the hospital. I know he wishes he could be here. It's important to understand that this life is very, very short. When my father passed away, I think he would have loved to have known that he was being inducted into the Hall of Fame. He would have hated to have the spotlight on him. One thing I can tell you, though, is that before my mother passed away, she was told of this great honor. She didn't have all of her senses about her. She was fading. Life was becoming short. And when we told her, she said, "That's nice." And we knew. We knew exactly what she meant by that. She was so proud of him. She loved him so much. My father would not have been the coach without my mother that he was. She was the person that stood right behind him through everything. She was there at the first World Series. She went to as many of them that she could. She was always there supporting him and loving us as children and loving him as his wife. If my father were here today, he would tell you this. Love each other, be kind to each other, most importantly, support each other. He wasn't always the hard-nosed, I edited myself there. He wasn't always the hard-nosed guy that you thought he was. When things got tough, he might be on you, but he'd pull you aside and he'd put an arm around you after, and he'd tell you exactly what you needed to hear. I love the quote from the movie Gladiator. I always end most of my speeches on this. What we do in life echoes in eternity. What my father did in his life will echo forever in eternity. Thank you all.
Our first team that will be inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight is that great team from 1975, the Bay City Handy Wildcats baseball team. Led by Hall of Fame coach Dave Petrosky, the Wildcats knew they had something special. That something special was a 23-game winning streak for the Wildcats, along with a 28-5 final record. During that impressive stretch, they won the districts, beating Alpena, the regionals, beating Lansing Waverly, both first for the Wildcats, as well as captured the Saginaw Valley West Conference title, also going into the championship game in 1975. 1975 Handy Wildcat team set the tone for Handy baseball in the future. You fellas got it going for Handy baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 1975 Bay City Handy Wildcats and assistant coach, Mr. Bob Kahlberg. Come on up, guys. We'll have you all stand right up in front here, and Mr. Kahlberg will tell us all about you.
Thank you. Just fine to yourself.
Congratulations. Here's your certificates for them, and your glasses are right down at the end. Mr. Davison, congratulations. Those are really nice. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction of myself and my teammates here. Members of the Board of Directors of the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame, past honorees, current honorees, special guests, supporters of the Hall of Fame, all Bay County sports enthusiasts, family, and friends. I am Robert Kulberg, former junior varsity and assistant varsity coach for the 1975 Thomas Lincoln Handy baseball teams. Head coach Dave Petrosky, although he could not be here tonight, is with us in his thoughts. He has asked me to share the following letter with all of you. He states, or writes, I should say, I would like to congratulate the 1975 TL Handy baseball team for being selected to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame. This group of players set the example for other baseball teams in Bay County. They won the Saginaw Valley Conference and were Class A runners-up in the state tournament. This group of players were very hard workers, and they were a true team, and I am very proud of them. They also have become successful in their careers. I am sorry I cannot be with you this evening. I am in Florida with my wife, Verna, who has MS and cannot walk without assistance. Again, congratulations, Handy Wildcats. Signed, David Petrosky. I spoke with Coach P Thursday evening, Friday, and again yesterday. And he reminded me to thank the parents and the entire community for supporting the 1975 team. All of us, the team, Coach P, and I, would like to extend a special shout out of thanks and praise to the Bay County Summer Youth Baseball programs, including Little League, Pony League, Colt League, and the American Legion League, and to the many dedicated volunteers who made these programs so very successful over the years. Most of the baseball players being honored this evening before you rose through these leagues to become outstanding athletes on the field and successful in their personal lives and careers. I wish to thank the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame for nominating and selecting us for the distinct honor and privilege of induction. This team achieved notable accomplishments, as Mr. Guizdella just pointed out a moment ago. They ended the 1975 season with a 28-5 win-loss record, including a miraculous 23-game winning streak. They won the Saginaw Valley League Championship, the District Championship, and Regional Championships, the latter two for the first time in our program's history. And most significantly, they capped off the season as Class A state runners-up for 1975. 5 players were named to the first team All-Saginaw Valley team, and 2 were named to the Michigan All-State team. I would like to share a description of the 1975 season based on the team's own reminiscences over the last few weeks on Facebook Messenger, and my own distant memory of that year. The 1975 season started out rather slowly, faced with a few challenges, namely Michigan's weather. We were confined to indoor practices, the batting cage, mechanical pitching machine, artificial pitching mound, and infield practices on the gymnasium floor, up until 1 week before the first game, at which point we were able to practice on the snow-cleared parking area of Vets Park, our home field. With a solid group of returning players, great team chemistry, a superb pitching staff, solid defense, great bats, speed on the bases, and great utility players stepping up when needed, we surmounted the various challenges. The team exhibited great situational play, intellectual talent, and competitive baseball instincts. As the season progressed and the wins accumulated, the team's cohesive spirit, maturing confidence, and solidarity galvanized. Progressing from shivering to stay warm to avoiding heat exhaustion, the team reached its apex in the final game of the state tournament. On that sweltering Saturday in June 1975, the Handy Wildcats were defeated narrowly by Plymouth Salem High School. As one player summed up the season, quote, "The coaches let us play the way we knew how, without too much control, firm but flexible," unquote. It was a glorious season that left us all with wonderful memories. In closing, I would like to recognize each of the players alphabetically for their accomplishments and the honor bestowed on them as a team today. Please hold your applause until all the players have been recognized. Dave Backowitz, Tom Cottrell, Jim Davidson, Bob Escamilla, Paul Jalise, Todd Haberlin, Kevin Halab, Tom Hansen, Mike Harris, Mark Jarmus, Joe Jimenez, Mark Johnstone, who is now deceased, Brad LeVictor, Brian Lynch, Charlie McPhee, Mitch Mendyke, Paul Nelson, Mike Shorkey, Tim Stakowski, Kirk Studley, Rich Travis, and Greg Zulsdorf. In addition, we include on our team Tom Anderson, who was our team statistician, and Mike Irwin, our student manager. All of us, these fine men, Coach Petrosky and I, would like to express our sincere appreciation to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame for inducting the 1975 Thomas Lincoln Handy High School baseball team. Thank you.
I didn't know you were a baseball.
I always knew when you were taking my class that the lesson plan was going to be taught. I greatly
You're a
appreciate
good liar.
it. Oh, no.
Congratulations, guys. Well done. Before I forget, this banquet and the induction ceremony is going to be taped delayed on Bay County TV. So if you want to watch that, Nick, when will that be on? Probably next week sometime. So channel 190 on Spectrum, and it's also archived in the Bay County TV station's Facebook page. So you'll be able to check that out, or you can call Nick at the Bay County building. Okay, thanks guys. Our next inductee for this evening made her mark playing volleyball for Bay City Central, and her name is Melissa Petty David. The 1991 graduated Bay City Central helped the Wolves become one of the best teams in Central's history. Melissa played for legendary coach Lorraine Larissy as she moved right up to the varsity. During her 4-year career, the Wolves went 175-40, back-to-back Saginaw Valley League titles along with regional titles and a Final Four in 1991. After graduation, Melissa took her excellent talent to play at Ferris State. As a sophomore, she stepped right in as the starting setter, helping the Bulldogs continue their great success. She was All-GLIAC in 92 and 94, Great Lakes Region in 94, 3-time academic All-Conference, and while earning her optometry degree. Today, she is the Bay City Western coach and is staying busy with her husband Trevor and their 4 children. If you would please welcome Melissa Petty David to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
All right, I guess it's my turn now. So I have been preparing for this speech for over a year. Thanks to COVID, we had a little more time than other people in the past have had to prepare that. But somehow I just had the ability to put it on paper last night. Ironically, I am not a procrastinator, but when you are asked to stand before all these great people, in the room and talk about yourself is not an easy task. I thought a trip down memory lane for my life in volleyball and involvement in sports is a perfect way to reflect. My volleyball career started in 1987. To make us feel old, let's reflect on that year. So Ronald Reagan was president, gas was $1.07 a gallon. Words like gnarly, dude, rad, grody, gag me with a spoon were socially acceptable at the time. There were no cell phones. The top song was an inspirational piece called Nothing Going to Stop Us Now by Jefferson Starship. The Tigers were 98-64 that year, fighting for a comeback season and winning the American League East that year. The Red Wings were 41-28-11, finishing regular season first in their division for the first time ever. And the Bad Boys of the Detroit Pistons went 54-28, winning their division and losing in the NBA Finals to the Lakers. The Lions, however,
Not much difference.
finished 4-11. Again, not qualifying for any postseason play. Shocker, I know. And into a historic gym garnered with purple and gold walked in a scrawny kid with big hair and braces that came from the courts of St. Hyacinth's in the South End, part of the hot and heavy parochial school league. That was me. Now, basketball was my game. I loved everything about it. Loved to make the big shot at the end, shot a nasty three-pointer, loved the fast break, the steal, the physical intensity. I loved everything about it. Now, volleyball, I wasn't quite sure on that one. I mean, our parochial school volleyball league was second fiddle to the basketball teams we had. Our warm-up consisted of bumping the ball around in a circle of 12 players. It was boring, uneventful in my opinion, and how are you supposed to control this white ball to go in the place you want it to go and it just flings off your arm in random directions? Volleyball was a winter sport back then. Tryouts were after basketball season with nothing planned in the winter, so my friend Holly and I figured, what the heck, let's go. We showed up for tryouts. We did a few basic skills, and then by the end of tryouts, Coach Laracy moved us to the varsity side to do some things with them. We had no clue what we were doing. She told everyone to start working on overhand passing, so Holly and I partnered up and started throwing the volleyball at each other like it was a softball. The others stopped what they were doing, stared at us in complete confusion, like why would she bring these two up, followed by a roar of laughter that echoed off the bleachers. At that point, Holly and I knew we were in a whole nother league here, and weren't sure we were up to the challenge or even convinced this volleyball was even worth our time. But then, a few minutes later, we turned, and there she was, Katie Blumenstein, 2004 Hall of Fame inductee, all 6'1" of her, spiking a ball down on the 10-foot line with a force that again made the bleachers in the gym echo. Now, I can't speak for Holly, but that was the moment I knew that I wanted to be like her and that this may be the game for me. Laracy moved Holly and up to varsity that year on pure athletic ability, not on our volleyball skills, and we were like sponges that year, soaking up all we could learn from watching the older girls perform. And also did get some opportunities for playing time that year. I would spend my next summer under the training of the great Jeff Williams, a 2009 inductee from Pinconning, who convinced me, well, he actually told me, because back then you just didn't question anything a coach told you, you just did it, that my high school needed me as a setter and he was going to make me into one. Now, those of you that do not know volleyball, that was not the girl pounding the ball on the floor. It was the girl getting the ball to the Katie Blumensteins of the team. It was a challenge I reluctantly took at first, but worked my butt off every day to make sure I could be that one that could deliver. I would spend the next 3 years playing volleyball against some great players in the area. Volleyball in Bay County in the late 80s and early 90s were state powerhouses. Central, Handy, and Pinconning were all in state rankings in that era. Volleyball became my life during that time, accomplishing things that I still had doubts were possible, but a lot of people believed in me and pushed for me, and now I was loving this game. The game was different then. It was a game of accuracy, finesse, and control. You could only score points if you served, so your team better have had some good servers. The ball couldn't hit the net at all. We would practice for hours on serving and on serve-receive passing until our arms would fall off or our legs would fall off from all the running stairs that Laracy would make us do if we didn't get that pass perfect on target. You only needed 15 points to win that game. Easy task, you would think. Well, the 14-hour tournaments that went from 8 a.m. until 10 at night demonstrated otherwise. Hence, that was some of the reason why the point system has changed later on in the years. It was fun. We didn't care how long our days were, as long as we would get to play as much in as many days as we could. I met a college coach in the summer of 1990, and over the next year, she presented me an opportunity that was very hard to refuse But more importantly, Coach Jill Hershinger at Ferris State believed in me and my abilities to continue the success she already established at the university's volleyball program. In college, I would meet the challenges of managing a demanding school schedule and playing a college sport. That experience taught me how to be strong in any life experience, good or bad, and to never expect anything unless you have to work for it. There are two roads you can take when you hit that adversity. I decided to take the path that didn't let me give up and keep on keeping on. My parents were those type of people, so it was easy for me to follow in their footsteps. I got to play with some really great people that I still call friends today, and although our life plans and paths have taken us to different parts of Michigan and the country, I still keep in touch with them. My volleyball career opened doors that may have not been opened without it. After college, I exited the volleyball scene for a while, taking time to concentrate on my career and raising my children. My husband Trevor and I were both sports nuts, so it was expected we had sports-oriented children. We have been blessed with them being athletic, and also we're blessed that because of that, it had given us all of us sports and life experiences while they were growing up, with some really good people in the sporting community. Sports has allowed us to experience Hall of Fame greats firsthand. These are people that have given back to the community of sports. People like Coach Tim McDonald, the winningest coach at Bay City Western that has claimed 2 state titles under his reign that my boys got to play for. Chris Pop, coach, mentor, and friend to us that my daughter got the privilege of playing for. Chris also coached me as an assistant 1 year in volleyball, so she's probably feeling a bit old right now. Lee Thompson, 2013, President Award recipient. Arguably the best Bay City Times sports writer we've ever had. We may or may not have had a deal going on that name mention. But our paths have crossed many times in my career, my kids' career, and in my young career as a high school coach. And I appreciate all that Lee does for our sporting community with delivering the news in the sports. And don't forget the old guy that looked like Grumpy Bear coaching third base because your kid didn't get the bunt down, but is hugging your kid at the end of the game in the dugout because he just told him he had faith that he would get it the next time. And that's Coach Rivette, who is being honored tonight as well. And those experiences that made me enter the coaching scene again 8 years ago. For one, my love of sports and watching what kind of impact a good coach can have on a kid with a dream, a kid that may not have others believing in him or her, but you can. In a world of turmoil and uncertainty, low self-esteem, poor mental health, and kids that are influenced by a 5-inch screen in front of their faces a third of their day, sports may be that only constant for them. Their reason to get away, to break free of their troubles at home and break free of the troubles in their mind, to join a team that makes them happy and makes them healthy and makes them look forward to the next day. That is the one thing that fortunately has not changed in the sports over the years. To the unknown person that has nominated me for this award, several times by the way, I was feeling like Susan Lucci there for a bit. For those of you that do not get that, it was a daytime actress that was nominated 17 times until she finally won an Emmy. To that person that believed in me enough that I deserved to get a spot amongst all the great players, coaches, mentors in this community, in the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame, and in this room, for that I thank you. For those of you that voted me to stand before you and give me this award, I thank you. To all my coaches I have had over the years that have made me tough, made me laugh, made me cry, believed in me enough to make me part of their team and give me experiences that I will keep for a lifetime, I thank you. To my friends, I thank you for all the crazy fun times, tough times, memorable times that you have created for me and would not have wanted to go through any of this without you, I thank you. For my volleyball players that I coached, who by the way wanted to come until they found out it was $50 a plate and asked if they could just stream it so they could watch from home, so they weren't able to come. I hope that you will take all your lessons learned in volleyball and apply it to your life and use it in a way that makes you never regret your experience. I thank you for letting me be part of your experience. And for my family, you all know that I just couldn't do life without you. You are all my reasons for every day. My heart is full with the support you have all given me over the years. The support I have been given when things have not been great. Memorable moments, so many that I cannot count. And the support when you lose the people in your life that mean the most. And you are comforted because you are all there. To you, I thank you. And last but not least, for the sport of volleyball, I thank you.
Congratulations. job, Melissa. Congratulations. Our next inductee was a standout for the Bay City Central Wolves in many sports, basketball, especially softball, and her name is Jody Gifford Marquardt. Giffy, as they called her, was a special talent on the basketball court and on the softball field. On the court, she was part of teams at Central that went 45-4 over her final 2 seasons. In softball, she was part of 3 district titles, going 37-4 as the Wolves went to the state finals. She was an All-Valley player as well as earning All-State honors in softball. After Central, she went on to play at Ferris State, where she still owns many records today. Jody was a 3-time first-team All-GLIAC and 2-time academic All-American. Jody is currently a math teacher at Lapeer High School and just retired from coaching after 18 years. If you would please welcome Jody Gifford Marquardt to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
First of all, I'd like to say good evening to Lee Thompson, to Bay County Sports Hall of Fame. This means more to me than what I could ever express to you in words, so I'm going to try and do my best tonight to express that. A couple years ago, I had the privilege of being inducted into the Ferris State Hall of Fame, which a couple of my teammates are here and my coach. And for me, it was a reflection on teammates later in life that had developed you as a young woman. And I really appreciated more so the memories of our time together. You know, the records and the playing softball was great, but it was more about the personal relationships that I remember now still to this day, except for a couple of stories that my coach shared. One is that I supposedly intentionally missed a bunt sign with a girl on first and second, and the girl on second inadvertently got thrown out at third base. She grabbed me by my face mask and she said, in other words, you better get your job done. So I walked back up to the plate feeling pretty bad, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just do what I know how to do, and I ended up hitting a home run. As I was passing third base, she also said to me, you're lucky. You're lucky that you just hit that ball. And I was like, amen, thank you. I don't have to go home and be punished. But through moments like that, she taught me how tough love was going to help me, how understanding. She could also put her arm around me. She was a very impactful person and still to this day is a very good friend of mine, because she taught me how a woman role model should handle themselves in adverse situations. Life wasn't always great on the softball field. We didn't always win, but through much adversity, she taught me many, many things about being a strong woman. So for that, Carrie Becker, I thank you. Kind of looking back on this achievement, it means a whole different thing to me. What it means is a young girl from the poor side of Bay City can overcome poverty. What it means is a young girl from a broken home can rise up and overcome brokenness. So for this, it means so much more than the Ferris State, because there's a bigger message here. Ironically enough, I ran into my 5th grade teacher. He had no idea that I was going to speak about this. But in 5th grade, we had to make a decision. It was either go blue or go green. Just so happened I like the colors of blue, so I picked go blue. And I remember picking blue and then engaging in conversations with my 5th grade teacher about college. Well, in a broken home, you don't speak about college. It's not something that people do. We just don't have those conversations. It's about, everyday things. I remember getting off the bus, running from my bus trip to my home, and excited to see my mom because I had to tell her about college. There was this place that we could go and we could do great things. We could get an education, we could play sports. Mom, I'm so excited I can go to college. And she put her arm around me and she said, that's great, honey, but I can't send you to college. Don't worry about it, Mom. And she's like, what? I said, I can get a scholarship. She said, in what? And I said, in sports. And she's like, oh, that's nice, but you'll have to work really hard. Yeah, and did you know that if I do really well in school, I can also get an academic scholarship? That's great, honey, but you're gonna have to work really hard. She didn't tell me no, she didn't tell me that it wasn't possible. She said, that's great, you're just gonna have to work really hard. I accepted that challenge. I said, I can do that. And so we kind of went about our business, and the conversations continued about college. Well, along my path, I was blessed with these teammates. My teammates sitting in the table back there. that this day and age, there's different teammates. My teammates supported me. My teammates taught me to rise up. We didn't have the competition of who's going to play more, who's going to shoot more, who's going to score more. We already had that. We had a 6'1" rebounder. We had a shooting guard that is also inducted into the Hall of Fame. We had an amazing point guard over there, and we just had this cast of people that just supported each other. It wasn't who's going to be better than who. They knew that if they made me better, I was going to make them better. It would make the team better. And so that was the philosophy. And so that's why we had 4 losses in a matter of 2 years, because we supported each other. But not just them, their families. Their families also supported me. A dad showed up at my house and he brought a basketball hoop. Not one that he bought, one that he made, and he put it up. And my mom said, "That's great, Tom, but I can't pay you for that." And he said, "You don't have to, your daughter can." And I was looking at him like, I'm just as broke as she's broke. He said, "She has to pay me with 100 shots every day." I said, "I got that, no big deal." Spring came along. Tom brought over a batting cage. "Tom, I can't pay you for that." "Your daughter can." "I'm still broke, Tom." "She can hit 100 balls every single day." Got that. And those were the parents that I was surrounded by. The Mussers drove me to every tournament. They built things. They sewed in me. And so it wasn't just their daughters that were phenomenal. It was the parents and the support system that was also phenomenal. God blessed me with Coach Pop. Coach Pop is in the Hall of Fame as well. And she taught me the discipline and what it would take to be in the season and thrive, and just to be a good human. And so for Coach Pop, I also thank you. She showed up one day in high heels and was shooting a 3-pointer in a skirt. Not did she just shoot the ball, she made it. And I looked at her and I was like, that is what I want to be. A strong woman that could be my role model, but that was very diverse. She could do many things. I was lucky enough to show up on the softball field. That's a whole nother story. Lucky to show up because some friends had talked me into going to the practice. And I also got pulled off to the side and said, "Hey, you're going to go join the varsity." And I don't know the rules of softball. I didn't know the game at all. I watched baseball, but I didn't know the rules. But through great leadership of these strong women and coaches that we had, I was able to not just survive, but to thrive. And that's because I had an amazing support system and some Hall of Fame coaches that this is the reason why I'm standing here today. It's very surreal to be here because it is not through my own doing. I promise I'm not that great, but through my teammates and through my coaches and through my family, that's where this moment comes in. And honestly, this night is more about the people that are sitting in the seats than it is about the people up here, because without our friends and without our family and without the camaraderie and without the humans that believe in you and give you the love that you need when you need it, that's why we're standing up here today. So for each one of you sitting out there, just know that what you've sowed into these people, they also are very grateful to be here tonight. As I'm on the clock, thanks, Jen. To my young son, Jaden, I have 3 very, very distinct things to say to you. Dream big, work harder, and love the people around you. I thank you guys so very much. Congratulations to all of you recipients.
Well done. Nice job. Well done, Jody. Good speech. I remember watching you guys at Bay City Central on TV. I remember, at my age, it's all starting to come back to me when I watch you guys. Congratulations again. Our next inductee for tonight is a coach who has spent 47 years coaching, and that coach is Coach Gene Rademacher. In 1971, Coach came to Bay City as a teacher coach, and in 1973, he became the T.L. Handy Wildcat head football coach at the ripe age of 24. For 5 years, he led the Wildcat football team. He was also an assistant under legendary coaches Jerry Grant and Ron Hughes for 6 years. In 1987, Coach moved over to Bay City Central to be on Morley Frazier's staff, who's also a member of the Hall of Fame, a relationship that lasted 31 years, with Coach retiring in 2017. Coach Rad was part of the Central team that finished state runner-up. As a defensive coordinator, Central went 165 and 133, won 2 Valley titles, made 11 playoff appearances, and of course was the state runner-up. Coach Rad also spent time coaching baseball, basketball, and track. A father of 4 girls and 2 boys, he is still giving back. Currently, he is the president of the Bay City Public School Board of Education. Welcome, everybody. Please welcome Coach Gene Rademacher to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
I tell you what, following these great people up here, I think I must back down. That's awesome. As Mike said, I arrived here in 1971. I never expected to be standing here, honest to God. It was just a fun thing to look at doing, and it was fun. It's very exciting and very humbling to be here in front of you. The people that have stood here over the past are champions, and I feel very, very humbled to be in that same mode. I so appreciate this award. I can remember my first meeting with the freshman football team at Teal Haney in 1971. Jerry Grant was coaching with me, and my mentor was my high school coach, Bill Smiley. He was the head coach at Handy at that time. And I don't know if you remember that far back, but he was pretty good at what he did. I worked with a lot of good coaches since then. Marley Frazier, Phil Zanotti, Tom Sullivan, Brian Bishop, Tom Brady, Mark Neal, and many more that have come and moved on to bigger and better things in their careers. I want to thank the over 1,000 athletes that I have been very privileged to work with. They allowed me to be part of their lives. And believe me, that's how we got things done. Now, every once in a while, I think I know I said something stupid. And when I see them, I say, okay, what did I say that was stupid? And we did some crazy things as we progressed through the coaching process. That was just amazing. It was a great life, great life. And one of the things that get me the most is when I'm walking Myers, Kroger's, down the hallway, and somebody says, hey, coach. What an awesome thing to feel. It's not, hey, Gene, hey, Rademacher, hey, you, hey, coach. And I say, no, you don't have to call me that anymore. You can call me Gene, or you can call me whatever you would like to call me, because as a football coach, you've been called all kinds of things. And they look at me and say, I can't do it, I gotta call you coach. And that's just, I mean, what a wonderful feeling inside me to have that at my age and at their age. It's unbelievable. I'm so very grateful to have my best friends and supporters here with me tonight. My kids, my family, right out there. Who along with their mother have given me inspiration, as well as putting up with not having a dad on a different occasion, and putting up with my busy schedule at different times. And I want to thank you for having taken their time with their busy schedule to come here tonight to be with Mary and I to celebrate this occasion. I don't like talking about myself. I can talk about my athletes all night long, but the clock is running, and I want to congratulate all these people here up front. Honestly, Bay County Hall of Fame is top of the line. None better in all 50 states, believe me. And again, thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, Our final inductee tonight is our final team tonight, and it is the 1974 undefeated, the Essexville Garber Dukes, right over here to my right. The 1974 Dukes, again, finished the season with a perfect 9-0 record. That Garber team was a who's who of players. It was Deary, it was Estabrook, it was Kerr, Mackey, Samalski, Trimble, just to name a few. Jim Mackey was the team's leading rusher that year, running for 1,427 yards and had 126 points and 18 touchdowns. Leading the great defense team was All-State linebacker Jerry Samalski. But the Dukes were all about team. The 74 Dukes won their 4th consecutive Northern B Conference championship and the first team in Garber history to go 9-0. The 74 team had 5 shutouts and only allowed 31 points all year, and these two records remain intact today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please welcome head coach Ed Harvey and the 1974 Garber Dukes to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame. Coach, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, here's your certificates if you want to hand those out later. Good job, brother. Thank you.
The team. What a group. We knew we had something special going into the season. We had 22 seniors. We had the valedictorian, salutatorian in our secondary. As you can see, we had some good size, and we had great speed, and we had 2 guys named Mackey and Trimble. And I know Tom would be with us today. Yes. He's up there somewhere wishing us the best, and he's supported by a fine group of his relatives there. The irony of our team started with a defeat, and I still remember it fondly. Every once in a while, Jerry and I talk about this. We had a 7 winning streak going into the last game against Bay City All Saints, who had one of the best teams in Bay City at that time. And we played at Garber Field with a sellout crowd. Fantastic. Triple overtime. And finally, in the last part, we kick a field goal and we go ahead. We got them. We hold them for 3 downs. And now there's only 1 play left in the whole game. Either we win or they win. And they had like Talaga, and they had Izakowski, and they had all these threats. And I figured we had them all covered, except a little guy named Likert ran a little dive, and he went in the end zone over a couple of my juniors that I remembered them, reminded them throughout the year. And I couldn't figure out how they could get away with that with a blitz 8. We had them until I saw Gary Evans and one of his cronies there at about 240. I thought, yeah, now I know how they did that. So I said to the guys, let's wait till next year. We'll get them. And we carried that memory for a long time. We had a couple of one close call throughout the year, and that was against our friends from Carleton. We scored on the first series, and our guys said, well, we got them. This is really going to be good. This is going to be a lot of fun. And we didn't score until the last play of the game to win 12-6. That was our close call. And our championship game was against Tawas, our friends from up north. And they had 2 all-conference, 1 all-stater returning. And they had a kid named Elliott who was all-conference, all-world. And I talked to Bob Estabrook, and I said, you know, you're going to have a challenge, Bob. This guy is going to run right over you. And Bob said, no, he won't. And in my pregame speech, which I've been known to say a few words here and there, I said, where's Bob? Jerry said, Bob's getting ready. I said, what do you mean he's getting ready? He's throwing up in the bathroom. He'll be ready. Usually Bob would only go to the bathroom once, but today it was 2 times, and he was ready. Tawas brought down 6 buses, student buses. And I thought, well, this is going to be a big, big game. And it was. The first play of the game, sure enough, Elliott gets the ball right at Bob Esterbrook, and wham! A collision that could be heard all through Bay County. They both go down. Elliott's down. Bob's down. Bob looks at me. Is he still down yet, Coach? I said, yeah, you're going to let him beat you up? And Bob's jumped right up. He said, I'm ready. And Elliott didn't run that play the rest of the game. The big game. I wouldn't call it a revenge game, but just what would you call that? Paybacks. We're going to play Bay City All Saints on a Saturday. We're going to play over at Elmer Engel Field. It's a big game, about 5,000 people there, and a little bit exciting. First play of the game, in honor of Coach Engel, we had to run the fullback trap. Little Jerry here was the pulling guard. Knocked some guy into the bleachers. And Tommy Trimble. Tommy ran 57 yards. It didn't score. A guy named Billy Harris caught him from behind. Yeah, wow. And we got stalled at the 12-yard line. And here's, Billy's laying there. Comes a friend of ours later on. And we don't score on that play. I went to church the next day, and which I had to be thankful for, and the team doctor said, the rumor at All Saints is that you deliberately went out to get Billy Harris. I said, you got to be kidding me. Did you see the play? He tackled our guy. And I said, you know what? We wanted Billy to play. We wanted to beat them at their best. 24-0. We're ahead. Less than about maybe 10 seconds to go in the game. And we knew that there was a secret play here. Joe Vermees had picked it out when the tripper, as we called him, Tripkowski, whenever he was going to go out for a pass, he would drop into a sprinter stance, and when he was going to block, he'd bring his other feet up. So we kind of knew what was going on. At least our first team defense did. And with just a few seconds to go in the game, we got our second team in there having fun and everything. And Joe Vermees yelling, the play, the play, the play. And our second team was looking, what play? And here's the bounce pass, lateral, pick it up and throw it down the field. And they scored a touchdown against our defense. We had 5 shutouts, going for 6. We'd only allowed 3 points a game, and All Saints scored against us. I get on the bus, and these guys are madder than heck. They're ready to, go to war. But I said, look, they scored. Yeah, Coach, but they scored on us, but not on the first team defense. Not on the first team defense. And remember one thing, we just went undefeated. First time in the history of our school. They go, well, okay, I want you to go home and celebrate the game. And what was really amazing here is that they were giving glasses out to our football team. I didn't know that they would take me literally, so they went and celebrated the game, as did I. And I wake up the next morning, and here is a bunch of beverage cans out in the middle of my yard with 9-0 as kind of a tribute to the season. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. And about 15 minutes later, here comes Samolsky's back hole with a big tree on there, and they planted what was called the 9-0 tree. And they christened the tree many times. And one thing that Jerry told me, being a landscaper, he said, Coach, he said, you might know football, but you don't know trees. that was not a sycamore tree, that was a silver maple tree. I thought, oh yeah, okay. And I learned what a silver maple tree is. The highlight of my coaching career this was one of them. And one of the other highlights is to have young people that you coach turn out to be great people as adults. And to me, that's one of the great things about coaching. You can go undefeated and watch how these young people turn out. And I was very fortunate and very blessed to have this happen. And I'd like to give a special thanks to the Bay County Hall of Fame for making all this possible. You've been a wonderful audience, and I've been known to say a few words here and there, but I'd like to also thank my assistant coach at that time, Skylar Cox, Joe Today, our athletic director, our JV coaches over here, like Gary Stefaniak, and our freshman coaches. This group of guys only lost one game in 4 years. Freshman, JV, and varsity lost only one game. And the only game that they lost was, you guessed it, All Saints. And we were able to settle the score. And as Bob Hope said a long time ago, thank you for the memories. And as we were talking and sitting around talking about old things, and I could tell a lot of stories about each one of these guys, but the memories are great, and these guys were able to share a few memories on Woodside there, a place called the Silver Palace last night. And there were a lot of stories that you can't believe that these guys were able to tell. But that's one of the fun times of being part of a team. And as Jerry mentioned in the article, the team, the team, the team. There was no I in team. And this group, I think, could beat anybody, any place, anywhere. And we have another little conflict here. The 84 team went undefeated. They said, Coach, who would win? I said, well, we'll never know. And I'd like to thank everybody for staying around and congratulating this team and thinking about some of our teammates that are no longer with us, but they're there in spirit. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
They got their certificates too.
Okay. I got to get my glass.
We'll get you a glass, Coach.
I think one of my players took my glass.
I think they're on their way to fill it up. Well, being the next All Saints football player, we did have that play in the All Saints playbook. I think it was called something like the Garber Special or something like that. So, but anyway, if we could one last time really congratulate our two teams, our President Award. So if you would all just stand up and give this fine group a standing ovation one last time. Folks, thank you again for your generosity for our scholarship program. That ends our program for this evening. Have a great holiday season and travel safe, and we'll see you next year. Thank you so much.